everyone, and welcome to a windy evening at Sand Creek Park for CTN's coverage of high school softball. It's the regular season finale and senior night for the Cardinals as they host section rival St. Francis. Joe Young behind the plate with Charlie Beatty. And Charlie, two teams coming in really hot right now, trying to finish the regular season that way and carry momentum into the playoffs.
And that's the key thing here, momentum. You always want to be playing your best when you head into sections, especially a tough section like Section 7. Both of these teams are, and whoever comes out of this game is going to feel that much better about themselves because there is some jostling maybe to be done in that 3, 4, 5 line in terms of the section seating.
Yeah, definitely a lot on the line as far as will you start at home and will you get which seed will it be, 3 or 4? Possibly between these two clubs. St. Francis has won 9 straight, haven't lost in 2 weeks, and that is the lineup they will bring into the park this evening. The shortstop, Haley Heckenleibel, will lead things off, followed by the catcher, Aubrey Terrace. Sidney Greene hitting third, and Emily Sorrell, the first base minder, is hitting cleanup. Madison Rothbauer in the 5 spot, Ella Roberts behind her. Julia Parr, Lucy Martin, and Kenna Packard round out the order for the St. Francis Saints. And on the in the circle for the Cardinals, Elia Johnson. Powerful junior pitcher for the Cardinals. Will be tested here in their 9-game win streak. These Saints have put up 10 or more 4 times in that streak.
Coming off a big win yesterday, a 1-run victory over albeit a 3A power, but North Branch, state runner-up last year at 3A.
First pitch from Johnson in the dirt, comes back with another fastball low, and quickly falls behind to Heckenleibel, 2-0.
Very potent offense for St. Francis. Heckenleibel certainly part of that, hitting 380. Gets on base about half the time.
Rising fastball, this time in there for a strike, 2-1. Cardinals have a lot of power throughout their lineup, and anything hit hard to right field could go a very long way tonight on both sides of the ball. Swinging strike evens the count to Heckenleibel, 2-2.
Great night to be a left-handed hitter if you're so lucky.
Heckenleibel thought about it, but laid off. The pitch low, 3-2. Pitch inside, ball 4. And Heckenleibel gets a walk to start things off here in the top of the first inning. Abby Carls minding first for the Cardinals tonight. Elia Johnson, when not pitching, usually covering that part of the diamond. Heckenleibel bluffs the steal. Pitch just low, 1-0.
This is not a St. Francis team that runs a lot. Only 7 stolen bases as a group. But Heckenleibel does have 3 of them, so you got to keep an eye on it.
This one skied to short center. Lam a long run to her left. Trips over and goes over the fence. That's a home run. A 2-run shot for Aubrey Terrace and a 2-0 lead for the St. Francis Saints here in the first inning.
Well, you just mentioned it. Anything going to right field is going to carry, and that one certainly carried. You said it right off the bat. It looked like a fairly playable fly ball. Just kept going. An eye on it, and hard for Sam Lam to get a beat on it.
She hit it really high, and it didn't look as if it was that deep. And then Lam just kept going, and watch, goes over the fence after the ball.
It looked like, on first glance, that the ball actually hit the top of the fence. That yellow tape, it did not.
It cleared it quite easily. And a very early lead for the Saints. Sidney Greene will dig in. Bases clear, nobody out. First pitch, chop foul in front of Sid Kerr at third.
It's a power-hitting St. Francis team. That's the 3rd home run of the year for Terrace. Matches her for the team high with Heckenleibel.
Interesting to see your 2 top home run hitters hitting 1-2 in your order.
Well, they've got a number 9 hitter in Packard who's hitting .425, so they've got table setters up and down the lineup.
Greene wanted to pull up, could not. Falls behind in the count, 1-2. And they look down, and a called third swinging strike for Sidney Greene. Thought she checked her swing, did not. A big first out for Elia Johnson and the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a nice response to the home run. And again, on any other day, it's probably still 0-0, maybe with a base runner or two on. But that's a good way to come back and get a good hitter out. See the non-check swing there. Sorry, Joe.
Fouls off the first pitch. Yeah, and I think you could tell by the way Greene froze on that replay that she kind of knew that she cracked the wrists a little bit, let that barrel go a little too far. This one skied to right, backing off on it is Hewland, and she can't make the catch. So Searle is going for third. The throw is not in time. She slides in safely. 2 across, a runner at third, and only 1 out here. A good start for St. Francis here in the top of the first inning.
And if the outfielders are learning anything, it's that you're going to have to play deep. You may have to basically play on the quote-unquote warning track out there because nothing's going to land in front of you. She's got a beat on it, and all of a sudden it just takes off.
Did not get a glove on it. No leather hit the mitt, so that's a triple for Sorrell here with 1 out in the top of the first. Madison Rothbauer stands in. Rothbauer trying to keep this streak going. Looks at a pitch low, 2-0.
So they're just a freshman on this team. A couple of freshmen in the lineup, only 3 seniors on this very talented group.
This one ripped, line shot into left, RBI single for Rothbauer. A 3-0 lead for the Cardinals, or for the Saints rather.
And you could argue that's really the only hard hit ball of the inning, despite the fact that we've seen a triple and a home run to right field. Those were both fly balls. This is a solid base hit, but if you're Johnson, might be a little frustrating, but you have to understand you're actually pitching fairly well, despite the fact you've given up 3 base hits. Discussion here up the third base line. That's Chelsea Liefring. Not sure exactly what this might be about.
So Liefring back to the third base coach's box, and digging in is Ella Roberts, the pitcher. And nobody loves to see the production early more than the visiting pitcher, who has a 3-run lead and looking to keep it going. Johnson bobbled it. She's going to beat it out. They try and get the runner at second, but Rothbauer dives back safely. Roberts on by error. Still only 1 out, 3 across, 2 on here for St. Francis in the top of the first.
Just a little bit of a hesitation there. You see, that's when it's not going your way. That's the kind of play that happens to you. Just took your eye off it for a second, and all of a sudden, first and second, 1 out instead of runner at second, 2 outs.
Certainly not the start that Coon Rapids was hoping for. Aubrey Burns, the courtesy runner over at first. 7th hitter of the inning, Julia Parr digs in. 1 out, 2 on, 3 across. Fastball misses wide.
If you're Johnson here, you just have to think about the fact that you're 1, maybe 2 pitches away from getting out of this inning, minimal damage. It's already 3-0, but your team's going to get the same wind advantage when they come to the plate.
Called strike on a good pitch on the inside edge. Evens the count to Parr at 1-1. That one just off the outside corner. This one chopped foul, 2-2.
Early on, Johnson has had a little bit more success with that off-speed pitch. Got a couple of swinging strikes earlier. And when she's going, that's a good pitch for her. Saw her do that against Andover a few weeks ago. She really baffled a lot of hitters, slowing it down.
2-2 pitch to Parr. Outside, full count. This one fouled, out of play. And we'll try it again. This one poked to the left side, scoop by Kerr. She'll tag for one. That's all they'll get, but they get the lead runner. Parr on by a fielder's choice.
It looked like another off-speed pitch from Johnson. You saw it come right off the end of the bat. No power in that swing. Nice play at third base by Kerr.
Get the sure out. 2 down now for Lucy Martin, still 2 on. First pitch hit high to left field, hooking foul. Out of play. That one skips away from Abby Graham. Short-handed catcher, you don't see that happen much. Both runners advance on the pass ball, so now 2 in scoring position with 2 out, and the count goes to 1-1. This one hit high to left, backing off, and making the catch is Cam Schmelzer to end the inning, but 3 runs for St. Francis in the top of the first, 2 on a home run by Aubrey Terrace. Cardinals a chance to respond when we return on CTN.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh, Dad,
waters.
that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Sand Creek Park, a good crowd out. It's windy, but it's staying dry. We thought it might rain. There was a lot of call for rain, but now that's been pushed back to later in the evening. St. Francis pitcher Ella Roberts staked to a 3-run lead before she ever steps into the circle.
She is the ace of the staff this year, 8-3, ERA of 183, 42 strikeouts in 65 innings, only 18 walks as well, so she does a nice job. And this is not the kind of pitcher you want to face already down 3-0, but Coon Rapids will see what they can do.
Well, and the Cardinals do have a lineup that can get the job done. Number 99, Sam Lom, leading off, followed by Leah Numela, the second base minder. Abby Graham is in the 3 spot. Elia Johnson, the pitcher, looking to take out some frustrations, and she's got power to do it. A number of big hitters in this lineup. Meg Scheck right behind her. Jaden Gale, the designated player, hitting for Sid Kerr tonight. Cam Schmelzer, Evan Hewland, and Abby Carls round out the order. Lom able to drive one back through the middle, and a leadoff single.
I mentioned it's a good night to be a left-handed hitter. Lom's not necessarily that kind of hitter. She gets herself on base, much more of a slasher, and played it to perfection right there and did exactly what she needs to do. Can't get all 3 back, but get yourself on base and Got some powerful hitters coming up behind you.
Well, and Sam is a perfect example of why I could never coach softball. There's no way I could teach how to hit the ball on the run, Ichiro style, but it's a style that works for a lot of softball players.
That's a great comparison. It looked exactly like one of Ichiro's swings. She almost doesn't take a full swing either. She kind of makes contact and doesn't totally follow through, but she's got enough power to rocket one up the middle.
Well, and she's 3 steps down the line with crazy speed, so this one chopped on the left side. They're going to get Lam at second. Numala on by way of the fielder's choice. Here's a look at the defense for St. Francis. Madison Rothbauer patrolling right field. Lucy Martin in the middle. Julia Parr in left. Kenna Packard and Haley Heckenleibel are on the left side of the infield. Sidney Greene and Emily Sorrell on the right side. Aubrey Terrace behind the plate. And Ella Roberts is pitching. And they're doing a little announcement for Abby Graham, the career hits leader for Coon Rapids High School. She has been a regular in the varsity lineup since her freshman year. Actually made the section roster as an 8th grader, but did not get into the tournament. And 116 hits now, and continuing, one of their big hitters.
Hopefully she can refocus after that. Highly embarrassed by the attention.
It's a little half swing foul to the backstop. I was going to say, not sure that's when you want to point out all these accomplishments. She's trying to help her team come from behind in the bottom of the first inning. Numala at first, rather. Abby Graham at the plate. Numala going, and she is out. Good throwdown from Abby Terrace. Heckenleibel applies the tag, and there's 2 away. Bases are clean.
We were talking about this before the game, commenting on Aubrey Terrace. She does not jump up to throw the ball down to second base. She gets it from a knee, saves her a lot of time, and that made all the difference on a close play right there. Actually, it wasn't even that close a play. Good tag as well.
Even up on the shoulder, got to her before the foot hit the bag.
But the fact that she can get the power on the throw down to second base without coming out of the crouch really at all. She actually goes further down to throw the ball down to second base. It's a nice technique if you could pull it off.
3-1 the count here to Abby Graham. 2 out, nobody on. And that's ball 4. Cardinals' first 2 hitters reached base safely, but both were out at second base. And now Elia Johnson trying to start a 2-out rally after the walk to Graham. And she's one that she can definitely loft one and carry that wind, but this one chopped foul toward third.
And this is the spot you want to be in. You wanted to see Graham get on there because you gave up 3 runs in the top of the first. Not necessarily totally your fault, but you want to get up there with a chance to get some back right away, and she has that chance.
Good looking pitch right there from Roberts, right down the pipe. Johnson just looks at it, and now behind in the count, 0-2. That one didn't miss by much. Not an easy take with 2 strikes.
Yeah, tough for us to see from our angle, but you could tell by the way the bench reacted. That was a close pitch.
She goes after one in the dirt. The throwdown bounces off her helmet and out into right field. They're going to keep Graham going. She's going to circle and come home. And how about that for a turn of events? Elia Johnson standing at second. Strikes out but reaches on a wild pitch. Advances on an error that will be charged to Aubrey Terrace for the throw off the back of Johnson's head.
Watch her right up the baseline. She's fine. Can't really see it from that angle, but she's fine because she's outside the baseline, exactly where she's supposed to be. If you're Terrace, you've got to take a step inside and then throw down the line on an angle so you don't risk the run there. She had lots of time, just rushed it a little bit, And that's what caused the really 2 and 3 base error. Now the courtesy runner comes out. Looks like it's going to be Emma Heeman. And more power in the batting order now.
Meg Scheck, another one that can definitely pound the ball.
A team leader with 4 home runs this year.
Trying to remember, I think she was at 6 last year. Last year, the Cardinals as a team hit like 18 or 19 home runs. The previous record for a team was 7. And the previous single player record was 3. Elia Johnson led the way with 7 home runs last year. And I want to say Scheck either had 5 or 6. There were 5 or 6 girls who hit home runs. It was definitely a fun year power-wise. They'd love to get some of that restored here late in the year.
Well, as much as a home run ties the game here, if you're Scheck, just think about solid contact. Get him back one at a time. A lot of game left.
Another one skipped in front of the plate. Heeman will hustle over to third.
Really nice jump there on that ball in the dirt. She wasn't going. As soon as she saw it hit the floor, she had a nice secondary lead. She took off, no play at third base.
This one hit to left. Underneath it for the catch is Julia Parr. Cardinals get one back, but Saints lead 3-1 after one. You're watching high school softball on CTN.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Back at the ballpark, the lights coming into full effect as dawn continues, or dusk continues here at the ballpark.
A strange weather day because it's cooling down so quickly because the weather's going to be awful over the weekend. It was such a nice afternoon, and now all of a sudden we're both wishing we brought jackets.
Kenna Packard will lead off the second for St. Francis, the only hitter not to face Elia Johnson in the first inning. Three runs on 3 hits in the first for St. Francis. There was a home run and a triple that, as we talked about, with a little less wind or maybe 2 fly ball outs.
Yeah, they become so tricky to read out there, and you can see both players have an issue with that. More so on the triple than maybe the home run.
Called strike, evens the count to Packard at 2-2.
It's one of those things where, as the opposite fielder, right fielder for a right-handed hitter, you're so used to playing shallow, expecting that shallow ball, but today you really have to sit back there, and that's what they're doing now.
Up and away, and the count goes full. Johnson started the first with a walk to Heckenleibel. It was the only walk she surrendered in the first inning. This one chopped left side, scooped by Scheck, bobbled a bit, the throw, and able to go up and get it and bring it back down in time was Abby Carls. That was bobbled on both ends, but they still are able to get the out.
Scheck there with a sigh of relief. That one kind of kicked up on her at the last second. She rushed the throw maybe a little, but nice play by Carls. Like you said, not the normal first baseman, and a little bit shorter than Johnson. Still made the play.
Heckenleibel walked and scored. Looks at a fastball low, 1-0. McKinn, 2-0.
And she is missing down low quite a bit. Maybe not following through as much as she would want to. Don't know if that's a conscious effort to try to keep the ball low, keep it out of the air, and then you just miss too low, but we'll see if she can bring it up just a little bit, get in that strike zone, challenge these hitters.
Yeah, she doesn't want to give, especially these first couple in the order for the Saints, anything too good to hit. I mean, here with 3-1 count, she's got to bring something for Heckenleibel. Heckenleibel in the driver's seat. Got that one off the shaft, but perfectly spotted just beyond the dirt in very shallow left center. It was over the head of Scheck and way too shallow for Schmelzer and Lahm. And a one-out single for Heckenleibel.
Heckenleibel came into this game with an on-base percentage of .483, and you can see why. Leads the team in hits and walks, and she's got one of each.
Terrace had the 2-run home run her first time up. One that looked to be skied to center and just kept carrying towards left and over the fence. Took center fielder Sam Lahm right with it. This one fouled back out of play. It's 1-1.
Another really good off-speed pitch there. Saw very early on the swing was Terrace. Got it off the end of the bat. Johnson's done a nice job on the slow stuff today. See if she tries it again here, 1-2.
This one hit well and over the head of Numela at second. Back-to-back sharp singles for the Saints. They've got a little something going again here with one out in the top of the second, already up 3-1. Just a well-hit ball, went down and got a good pitch and put it where no Cardinal had an opportunity to flag it down. And now Sidney Greene, big cut at the first pitch. And behind in the count 0-1. Greene punched out on an appeal to the base umpire. This one chopped to third. Kier touches, tried to go to second for two, won't get the second, but they get the lead runner again, a big second out.
If you're Kier there, I think the better play might be to try to go to first. You've got a runner with an early break trying to go down to second. You're looking for 2 outs. Don't know if you have much of a play at second. You might have one across the diamond. Either way, it's tough, but
this one foul in front of Carls. Oh, 1 count now to Emily Sorrell with 2 on, 2 out. That one skips to the backstop. Both runners are going to advance easily on the wild pitch.
I think the Cardinals are appealing for a foul ball. They might have a case. I wonder if we could see that again. Is the way that Graham missed it. Almost like she had her eye line changed.
Talk.
And they didn't see it, so I think it's going to go down as a wild pitch. Here, let's see this again. See if you can see contact.
I don't think she did.
Second look, it almost looks like there's something. I thought the ball might have changed direction. Yeah, she got a piece of that with the end of the bat for sure.
Got a piece of that with the bat.
And that's the angle that the Cardinals dugout has right there. Watch it change direction. I mean, Graham's not going to miss a ball by that much. Oh, bad break there for Coon Rapids.
This one fouled back and out of play. one chopped left side, through the hole. One run across, they send the second. She kind of stopped up, still will come in. And that is 2 big runs for St. Francis to push their lead to 5-1.
Zach Neighbor is not happy. He's saying to the umpire that cost us 2 runs. It really didn't, because the next pitch was fouled off as well, so it'd still be a 2-strike count. But you can sense the frustration there for Coon Rapids on the missed foul tip call.
But that would have only scored 1 run if those runners
That
are
is
forced
true.
to go back. Madison Rothbauer, RBI single, first time up. This one out of play. 1-1.
Let's go get him.
That one just low. And again, we see Johnson just nibbling down low, trying to get those Saints batters to fish. Big swinging strike, strike 3, a big strikeout, but 2 more big runs for the Saints. They lead 5-1 after an inning and a half on CTN.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother ya?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Back at Sand Creek Park, a late night Friday night baseball game to end the regular season schedule for the Coon Rapids Cardinals, facing a tough section opponent from St. Francis, and the Saints have jumped to a very early lead. 3 runs in the first, 2 more in the second, and the Cardinals down 5-1 as they get ready to bat here in the bottom half of inning number 2.
After the Cardinals, number 8.
Jaden Gale, Cam Schmelzer, and Evan Euland are the scheduled hitters for Coon Rapids. Jaden Gale breaking into the lineup here late in the season, just a freshman. Gale, the designated player. Oof. And a good little curveball there to Freezer for strike 1. Chopped foul. And Roberts quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. Cardinals with an unearned run in the first after a weird play. Big swinging strike 3. After Elia Johnson struck out in the wild pitch in the dirt, she was on her way to first with a throw from the catcher, Aubrey Terrace, hit her in the back of the helmet. That allowed Abby Graham to round the bases and come home with what is their only run to this point. Cam Schmelzer. Got just a piece, 0-2. Roberts trying to cruise, wants to get her hot hitting club back to the plate. This one slapped and through the middle. 1-out single for Cam Schmelzer. Schmelzer's got wheels too, good speed on the bases for the Cardinals.
Got 2 hits by Coon Rapids so far, both from slasher type left-handed hitters, Long and Schmelzer. Those that are sitting back having a little bit more trouble with Roberts, but there you see, just keeps that eye on it, opens up. Good swing right back up the middle.
Evan Hewlin looks at a strike, 0-1.
One thing that type of style does, really takes an off-speed pitch out of play more because you're stepping into it. It's more of a bunt type swing, so you're just focused on making contact, not necessarily timing it perfectly.
Talk about a good off-speed pitch. Hewlin all tied up by that off-speed bender, and it's 1-2.
When you're sitting back hitting in a more traditional style, you are susceptible to that pitch because it is a much more traditional timing-based hitting approach. Not saying that everybody has to go up there and start slashing all of a sudden because it's a hard thing to learn, as you said, on the fly, but
that fastball was just low and the count is full.
If anything, it shows why Roberts has the numbers she does on the season. Very tough pitcher to deal with.
And she gets her second strikeout of the inning, third of the ball game. Yeah, she's got some very deceptive stuff, a good fastball, off speed, and you don't see a lot of softball pitchers that can bring as much break as what I've seen from her here in these early innings. You know, you see a lot of the rising fastball, a lot of off-speed stuff that will fall off, but hers goes up and comes down on that curveball. And a lot of times it does just that, freezes the batter for a called strike.
Well, for Coon Rapids, you have to be thinking, try to chip away at this lead a little bit. Do have to take advantage of any base runners you can get.
Carl's way out in front of the off-speed pitch and behind in the count 0-2. And a called third strike. Roberts pitches her way around a one-out single with 3 strikeouts in the inning. Her team back at the plate with a 5-1 lead after this on CTN.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
Kevin, I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Get some bib overalls and put them on. Back at the ballpark, and a big offensive showing so far for St. Francis. 3 runs in the first, 2 more in the second, and they have a 5-1 lead over the Coon Rapids Cardinals. Ella Roberts, the pitcher, just showed her stuff in the top half of the inning. Takes in, she had a slow roller that ended up, she reached on an error as she rolled one back towards Elia Johnson in the circle. That back in the first inning. Good fastball answer there from Johnson, 1-1 count. This one foul, and Carls can't get there in time as it falls in front of her, 1-2. Top of the third inning, St. Francis, Coon Rapids, both Section 7 teams battling for position. Last game of the season for Coon Rapids, second to last for St. Francis. Roberts chases a pitch low and goes down on strikes. That's the third strikeout of the ball game for Johnson.
Section 7 figures to be one of the tougher ones to get out of this year. 2 top teams right up there leading the way, Forest Lake and Anoka.
This one hit sharply and through the wickets on Carls. Julia Parr on base. That one hit pretty sharply, but got to call that one an error. It's hit right at you at first base. You've got to make the play. Got to at least knock that ball down. Lucy Martin, fly ball to left field that ended that 3-run first inning. First pitch, hit to short, check to Numela for 1, and no time to get the relay out. Good speed down the line by Martin. And she's on by fielder's choice.
Yeah, anything other than really perfect precision on a double play in softball, and it's just not going to happen. Good decision by Numela just to eat the base or the softball here. Long throw from deep short. Doesn't quite get a clean grab out of the glove and wisely keeps it.
Kenna Packard backs away from a pitch up and in, 1-0. 2 outs, the runner at first is Lucy Martin. And a good pitch right there from Johnson to even it up 1-1.
Yeah, that's where she's got to live, right there at the knees. Looked like that one was on the outside corner. That'll deter any elevation.
Well, and then she changed it up by bringing that rising fastball, and Packard just couldn't lay off the pitch high, 1-2.
And if you're effective low, that makes that pitch really devastating.
Then she goes back to that off-speed pitch down, and that's fouled off. It'll stay 1-2. Johnson really needs to get out of this with an empty inning. Have to be able to stop the streak, as we talked about. 9 straight wins for St. Francis. They've put up 10 or more in 4 of those games. This one hit and fouled on the left field line. We're going to keep trying at 1-2.
Sorry, Joe. This has to be the formula the rest of the way. You do have to be clean defensively because you're facing a tough pitcher, and you've got to be scrappy offensively. Pick your spots, and if you get base runners, you have to bring them home.
Outside, a good waste pitch there from Alaya. 3 straight 2-strike fouls from Kenna Packard. Attempt her with a little speed outside. This one rolled on the left side. Care to Carls, out number 3. And we go to the bottom of 3. Coon Rapids trailing St. Francis 5-1 on CTN.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Back at Sand Creek Park, it's senior night for the Cardinals, wrapping up the regular season here against section rival St. Francis, and the Saints jumping out to a big lead. A 2-run home run started the scoring for St. Francis in the top of the first inning. They added 1 more and then 2 more in the second inning. Cardinals got 1 unearned run against Ella Roberts in the first, and she was masterful in the second. 3 strikeouts, did give up a 1-out hit, but 3 strikeouts in that second inning for Ella Roberts.
Top of the order for Coon Rapids in this inning, and you got to start thinking, even though it is just the bottom of 3, you got to start getting some runs back, at least putting some pressure on Roberts, make her work through some tough innings.
Yeah, just 2 hits, first time through the order for the Cardinals. And that's the second hit of the ball game for Sam Lom. Slaps it into center, drops it in front of Lucy Martin. She's 2 for 2.
Well, that is just a ridiculous swing from Sam Lom. That's a lot of talent right there. She almost checks this up halfway through, changes her mind, and swings again.
Times it right, puts it in play. She's on base. Numela, first pitch, scooped up by by Packard, but then dropped. Trying to hustle. Newlam had speed. And that's going to be the second error of the ball game on St. Francis. 2 on, nobody out here for Abby Graham.
Like the attack mode by the Coon Rapids hitters here, trying to ambush Roberts early in the count. 2 first pitch swings, 2 base runners.
Pitch just outside to Abby Graham. Graham walked and scored the only run of the ball game so far for the Cardinals. This one hit, line drive, they're gonna get 2. Great play by Heckenleibel. Greene there to cover the bag at 2. And they erase the lead runner to 2 outs quickly.
Bad break there for Coon Rapids. That might be the hardest hit ball they've had all day. Just happened to be right at Heckenleibel and Lam. Not much she can do about that. Just frozen off second base.
And now Elia Johnson digs in, 2 out, 1 on. The runner at first is Numala. Johnson struck out and then reached on a wild pitch, assisted by an error. Pitch is low, 1-1. Way out in front of that curveball, 1-2. Yeah, I really like that pitch from Roberts, and then she's swinging at another fastball in the dirt. Nice strikeout again for Ella Roberts, a relatively quick inning after a leadoff single. Big double play turn behind her, and the Saints back at the plate with a 5-1 lead in the 4th after this.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Fans are into the game. It's a beautiful night for softball. Looked sketchy this morning that we might not be able to play, but the weather pushed off until later in the evening, and a good crowd on hand for a Friday night ball game. The home team, though, finding themselves trailing a very powerful section opponent. Top of the order, 2 up here for St. Francis to start the 4th. Haley Heckenleibel. Single and a walk, a run scored.
She's had a major impact on this game already, and maybe the defensive play of the day in the last half inning by spearing that line drive, starting the double play that really killed what looked like a promising rally for Coon Rapids.
Heckenleibel shows bunt, pitch is high, 2-0. This one, left side scoop by Sheck, but Heckenleibel beat it out for an infield single. And she's reached all 3 times. Sheck a little frustrated.
Yeah,
just good speed down the line. I think that's the right call. Aubrey Terrace, 2 for 2, a 2-run home run in the first. Singled and scored in the second.
You've seen since the top of the first inning really a concerted effort by both pitchers. Try to keep the ball low, keep the ball on the ground. We haven't had a lot of fly balls in this game.
And they've got Heckenleibel off, but boy, she's got speed.
She did the right thing too. As soon as she was frozen, did what you're supposed to do. Just make a beeline for the base you're trying to gain. If they're going to throw you out, make them throw you out at second, not trying to get caught in a rundown.
Terrace fouls that back. It'll stay 0-2. Terrace, solid single into left. They're going to turn Heckenleibel, but then Holder. Terrace is going to hustle over and slide in safely at second. They were so concerned with the lead runner, but Terrace just never stopped at first.
That's a great read on the base pass. Knows the outfielders are playing deep and knew the throw would probably go home if it went anywhere, so she didn't really hesitate around first base. She was going for second the entire way.
Sidney Greene reached on a fielder's choice and scored in her last at bat. This one's fouled on the left field line. 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. Top of the order has really been a terror for St. Francis through the first handful of innings. Big swinging strike from Greene, and Johnson ahead in the count 0-2. Pitch down low, good stop by Graham. Good off-speed pitch. Greene completely fooled out in front of it. Strike 3, out number 1.
This lineup's been really good for St. Francis, but Greene's been the one hitter Johnson's been able to consistently go after. 2 strikeouts now.
And now Emily Sorrell, a 2-run single in the second, a triple and a run scored. In the first, so 2 for 2 with a single, a triple, couple RBI, and a run scored. That's a good line for the day, but this is only middle innings. Scheck throws across to Carls. This time it is there in time. A run does score on the out, another RBI for Sorrell.
Now you give up that run. That's a good pickup by Scheck. She had a runner right on top of her trying to make that play to her left and picked it cleanly. Made a nice throw over to first.
And now Madison Rothbauer. Rothbauer an RBI single in the first, a strikeout in the second. Wanted all of that first offering from Johnson and came up empty. 0-1 pitch just outside, and it's even 1-1. St. Francis right fielder. Check swing, puts it in play. Johnson to Carls for out number 3. 1 more run, and it is 6-1 St. Francis midway through the 4th on CTN.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
Breezy, but nice enough day to play ball. Friday night, of course, the school kids who are here to see and support, getting that feeling that the summer is almost here. Very late in the school year. Final regular season game for these Cardinals. The Saints will finish up with a game against Princeton on Monday.
This is that time of year when if you're a senior in high school, a couple of weeks left, you kind of wake up in the morning and you think, we're still doing this? We're still going? I know I've got practice or a game later, but can we just skip ahead to that?
Right. Well, I know that mine has been counting the remaining school days for some time already.
That happens in my house year after year, but that's what happens when you're married to a teacher.
Meg Scheck, Jaden Gale, and Cam Schmelzer due up for the Cardinals, and they need to start getting some runs back. We talked about it all, you know, I mean, obviously St. Francis scored 3 in the top of the first, but we've been talking about you don't have to get them all back at once, but now getting into these middle innings, you've got to start putting something up on the board and really get to Ella Roberts somehow. They really have not been able to do that yet.
That's one of those things in baseball or softball that when you're behind by a handful of runs, all of a sudden the game seems to just rocket by.
Right.
You look up, it's the bottom of the 5th, and you're still down 6-1, bottom of the 4th here, but got to start making it happen if you're Coon Rapids.
Well, and to Roberts' credit, she's been very impressive, really keeping Cardinals batters off balance, giving up just 3 hits through 3 innings, the 1 run for Coon Rapids unearned. This one hit well by Scheck, but foul.
If nothing else, you want to show yourself that you can get to Roberts, because there's always the chance this is not the last meeting between these two teams. Depending on what happens here tonight, how they seed the section, these two teams could easily be 4-5, and then you're in line for a game in the quarterfinals.
This one hit sharply to center off the glove. Good effort by Lucy Martin. She comes up empty. Scheck slides in safely just ahead of the tag at second base.
That's a very close play, and if you're Scheck, you breathe a sigh of relief right there, because that's a base that you don't need to take. Down 5 runs. Took a gamble. And it looked like she did get in there, but it was close.
Just barely. But yeah, I think Scheck, as she turned first, saw it bounce away from Martin. Thought, oh, I got second base easy, but it was Haley Heckenleibel, I believe, who went out and got the ball off the bounce off of the glove of Lucy Martin. And I think about halfway to second, Scheck realized, oh, this is going to be a close play.
And they're going to talk about this. But imagine the home plate umpire may have actually had to come out and make that call. I mean, clearly the throw does beat her, but the tag doesn't. And you can see the umpire behind the runner, and that's maybe why the discussion is here. But if they do call her out, I think it's the wrong call. I think he actually got it right.
Yeah, she definitely is on the bag before she's tagged.
And if you see Chelsea Leifer, you can understand. The throw beats her by so much, I think everybody assumes she's out. And that angle maybe got it on the foot, but yeah, I don't think there's enough there to make a change.
I thought it was even more clear that that foot's on there right now.
That angle definitely looks safe. Close one, but
too close for comfort, to be certain.
Sure.
But a runner at second, nobody out. Jaden Gale comes up. Gale, a strikeout victim in the second inning.
And that's one of those things in high school sports, in defense of the umpires. 2-umpire system, that's a lot of responsibility for them. And it's tough sometimes to get those plays exactly right.
Well, and so far we've seen a couple of bang-bang plays, and I'll say 3 bang-bang plays, 2 made on the bases were made correctly.
Absolutely.
This one popped up right at third. Underneath it for the catch is Packard. And that's a big first out for Ella Roberts and the Saints. Cam Schmelzer. A single in her first at-bat. Opportunity here where a single may help cut that lead further. Swinging strike evens it up 1-1. This one chopped to second. Greene to Serrell for out number 2. Sheck advances to third on the play. I mean, Roberts would like to not give up any runs, but not going to be too concerned with Sheck at third. 2 outs here and a 5-run lead in the fourth.
Well, it gives her the ability to just come out and attack hitters. Sure, if somebody beats you, gets a single up the middle, you give up the one. You know, you still have the 4-run lead. Your offense is rolling on the other side.
Evan Euland looks at that off-speed pitch to even the count, 1-1. Got just a piece of that. And a big swinging strike 3. Another strikeout for Roberts. Another empty inning on the scoreboard for the Cardinals. They trail 6-2 as we head to the 5th inning from St. Creek Park.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
So 6-1 lead for St. Francis. Elias Johnson has thrown pretty decently, but you got to hand it to St. Francis. A number of really good hitters, especially at the top of their order, has really done a masterful job through the first half of this ball game.
Yeah, they've really come out in attack mode against a good pitcher.
Saints pitcher Ella Roberts will lead off. She's swinging at the first pitch, rolling it to Sheck. The throw to Carls in time. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And if you're Johnson, you really just want a quick inning, especially here against the bottom part of the order. Get your offense back out there, see if they can get something done for you. But they have had to work hard to get back onto the bench, and that takes its toll over the course of a game.
Julia Parr 0 for 2, but she's reached both times. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first, on an error in the third. Looks at a fastball, strike 1. Chops this one to the backstop, 0-2.
Johnson looking sharp this inning, nothing but strikes. Maybe the best she's come out, I know it's only 4 pitches, but the best she's come out in any inning tonight.
This one lined just out of the reach of Sheck. And a 1-out single for Julia Parr. A 100 on base percentage. You gotta love that from your 7-hitter.
Now for the Saints, number 4, Lucy Martin.
Lucy Martin, a fly ball and reached on a fielder's choice. Looks at a fastball low, 1-0.
That's the thing about this St. Francis lineup. There are not a lot of holes in it. There's no weak averages, 1 through 9.
As you said early on, number 9 hitter is hitting 425. That's a pretty stacked lineup. This one lined and just foul. Couple of sharply hit balls off Johnson here in the top of the 5th inning for St. Francis. Trying to build on their 6-1 lead.
Martin, and number 8 hitter, hitting 250, but still on base well over 380. So she finds a way to get on base as well. And that's just up and down the lineup. Find a way to get it done. That's why you've got a team that's putting up 10 runs a game, especially over the course of this long winning streak they've had.
Martin able to check her swing at a pitch down and away, 3-1. They double check with the base umpire. He says no swing. Shot foul, full count.
And we've talked about the offense for St. Francis as well, but the pitching's been great.
Yeah.
Of course, this winning streak, they've only allowed more than 3 twice. They have 3 shutouts in that stretch, so it's not a one-sided team by any means.
No, firing on all cylinders, and they are really confident and feeling really good. And when we talked to Coach Chelsea Liefering before the game, that was her comment. She said it's just so much fun watching them play and have confidence and cheering each other on, and everything's just going their way at the right time. Martin battling away up here with Johnson. Fouls another one back. It'll stay a full count.
And they still have 2 games left to play, 1.5 now. They've got to play on Monday. It's a makeup game from a canceled game earlier in the season with Princeton, but this is not a team anybody's going to want to play in Section 7 if they keep this rolling.
And again, Martin fouls it off. Yeah, the only thing I always it's tough to carry a long winning streak into the playoffs only because it has to end sometime. It would almost be a relief sometimes to get that very hard-fought loss right at the end of the regular season, just so that you can say, okay, let's turn around and get back on that winning streak. But at the same time, if you can keep it rolling, that's always good too. 10th pitch of this at bat for Lucy Martin, 4 2-strike fouls, and that one way up over her head all the way to the backstop. It's ball 4 anyhow, and 2 on and 1 out for St. Francis here in the top of the 5th inning.
And if you are St. Francis, so it looks like a pitching change is going to happen here. This win is not just another win in the winning streak. They don't play a ton of 4A teams on their route. Their conference is made up a lot of 3A teams, and they're good 3A teams. This is not a knock on their competition or on the team, but the fact that you can do it against a section opponent, against a 4A team, just shows the caliber of team they have.
Absolutely. Becca Masteler will come in to take over in the circle. We will take a short break and be back with more of the 5th inning after this. You're watching CTN's coverage of high school softball.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Top of the 5th inning here at Sand Creek Park. St. Francis leading Coon Rapids by a 6-1 score. They have 2 runners out and 1 on. Becca Masteler will come in relief of Elia Johnson. Johnson moves over and takes the place of Sidney Kerr at third base. Number 9 hitter in the order for St. Francis, Kenna Packard, 0 for 2 so far, a couple of groundouts. Tries to bunt the first pitch, and it's foul. Shows bunt again and pops it foul over the head of Abby Graham, 0-2. That should take the bunt out of the equation. Trying to move those runners both into scoring position before getting back to the top of the order, and a part of the order that has really been firing. This one hit high and short to right. Coming in to make the catch is Evan Euland, and that's a second out. Big second out for Coon Rapids here in the 5th. Cannot see that lead get any larger for St. Francis. And back to the top of the order, Haley Heckenleibel, 2 for 2 with a walk. Couple of singles, 2 runs scored. Takes the pitch down and in.
She has been a major factor in this game, both sides.
Well, and on deck is Aubrey Terrace, who's 3 for 3 with a home run. Two runs scored, couple RBI for Terrace. 2-0 count to Heckenleibel, and that one misses outside, 3-0. Good fastball at the knees for Mastiller, trying to battle back here and get her team back in the dugout. And that's down low, ball 4. And they're all loaded up for Aubrey Terrace, who again 3 for 3 so far this afternoon. A couple of runs batted in, a couple of runs scored.
Number 8.
Coach Liefring's advice, just need some contact, keep it going.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you need to tell Terrace in a game like this. You mentioned 3 for 3, she's got the home run. Just get up there and hit. She was so excited to get up and hit, she almost forgot to take her shin guards off.
Good scoop by Graham behind the plate on a pitch low, 1-1. The count to Terrace. This one shot back through the middle. One run is going to score, a second one coming home. In safely is Lucy Martin, and they throw back to try and get Heckenleibel at second, but she's back in safely. Another hit, 2 more RBI for Aubrey Terrace. 4 for 4, 4 RBI and 2 runs scored. It's a good day at the ballpark.
Has found the big opening up the middle. It wasn't necessarily the best contact she's had tonight, but in the right place. And all of a sudden, if you're Coon Rapids, you worry about this game getting away from you here in the 5th.
Greene got just a piece of it. Greene reached on a fielder's choice in the second and ended up scoring. 2 strikeouts in her other at-bats, hoping for a little bit better luck here against Mastiller, but finds herself right back in an 0-2 hole. And it's a called third strike. 2 more across the plate, though. The lead is 8-1 for St. Francis. Cardinals try to answer in the bottom of the 5th after this on CTN.
Jeff Foxworthy here. You know, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, thing is, there's a lot more to say. Like if you've ever found yourself burning yard debris and then walking away, well, you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Coming into this contest that the St. Francis Saints could put up some runs, and they started right away. A 2-run home run in the first for Aubrey Terrace. They had 3 runs in the first, 2 more in the second. They had 1 in the fourth and 2 more now in the top of the 5th inning to take a 6-1 or an 8-1 lead over the Coon Rapids Cardinals. The Cardinals get the 1 unearned run in the bottom of the 1st inning. But other than that, have really had a tough time getting anything going against Ella Roberts. They've only had 2 base runners. They had more than 1 base runner in the first. They had more than 1 base runner in the third. just one base runner in each of the second and fourth innings. Abby Carl's big cut comes up empty. So bottom of the fifth inning, and this is just the 18th hitter that Ella Roberts has had to face. 6 strikeouts in the contest. Called strike as Carls didn't want to commit to the pitch up around the letters.
3 pitches, 3 different speeds for Roberts. That's just a nightmare to have to deal with as a hitter.
This one grounded foul. Cardinal dugout trying to stay positive. A lot of chatter over there, but Carl's punched out. Another strikeout for Ella Roberts.
Now for the Cardinals, number 99.
Bottom 2 in the order for the Cardinals, 0 for 4 strikeouts.
Let's see if Lam can do it again. Try to get a spark going. She has had 2 very nice at-bats in this game.
Make it 3, and they've all been the same. First pitch, hard hit, ground ball, back through the box. She's 3 for 3.
Now for the Cardinals, number 3.
That's how you hit 448 coming into a game, and that average is shooting up very quickly.
Unfortunately, the Cardinals just haven't been able to string anything together, even here at the top of their order, where they can be so dangerous. Leah Numala. She's reached base both times. This one will spin foul, 1-1.
Just recalculating Sam Lam's batting average, now 471 after going 3 for 3 today. That'll
okay.
get the job done.
It's okay. I can see why you might put that in your leadoff spot, especially with the speed that she possesses. 1 out, 1 on. 1-1 count, and that's another foul.
But like you said, they've got to be able to utilize those base hits that she's giving them. 3 for 3 today, but she has not scored a run.
Well, she hasn't made it past second base. She was at second base when the line drive double play caught her off. There's a single for Numala. Lam is going to turn, and she's in at third. Numala hustles over to second. The Cardinals have a little something going here with 1 away in the bottom of the fifth.
That's the first time we've seen a hitter today with 2 strikes against Roberts really get into an attack mode. She's been able to keep everybody off balance, but this is a good swing. Almost just places that ball in left center field.
And now Abby Graham. Graham scored the lone run for the Cardinals back in the first inning. She also hit the scorcher into the double play in the third.
Still might be the hardest hit ball by a Cardinal hitter today, and of course it became 2 outs, but this is a hitter that anytime you can get her up there with runners on base, you feel pretty good about it. All-time base hits leader, as everyone in the stadium now knows.
And this one hit well toward the gap in left center. Good coverage there, though, by Julia Parr to get the out. It'll be a sacrifice fly as Lam will come home to score.
Now for the Cardinals, number 33, Elijah Johnson.
So the Cardinals get one back. That's the second out, though. Leah Numala, the runner at second base. Elia Johnson coming to the plate looking for her first hit. She's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. She did reach on a wild pitch in the first. And the error on the throw that went off the back of her helmet led to the first run for the Cardinals. Numala, good hustle, able to get over to third base.
Another quick read on a ball in the dirt.
1-1 to Johnson, 2 out. The runner at third is Numala. This one hit to the right side. Greene over to Serrell, and that is the third out. The Cardinals leave one stranded, get one more across. Still, they trail 8-2 as we head to the 6th.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the lights at Sand Creek Park for senior night for the Cardinals softball team. Not the result they were hoping for, at least not to this point. They are going to need some big things to happen on the offensive end to try and come back, and they're facing a very tough pitcher in Ella Roberts. Becca Mastler came in relief in the top of the 5th inning, and now we'll face Emily Sorrell, Madison Rothbauer, and Ella Roberts here in the 6th. Sorrell, first pitch swinging, scoop by Johnson at third, throw dug out nicely by Carls, and a 1-pitch out.
Nice play by Johnson. She's playing 20 feet down the line. That ball gets on you quick.
She's a hockey goaltender. Quick reflexes.
That shows on
Good
a play
glove.
like that.
Of course, Charlie, I want to thank you for joining us, filling in for Shapiro, who's slacking somewhere, I'm sure. But
as opposed to slacking here.
Well, correct. But perhaps you're not as familiar as CTN viewers, and certainly as Howie Shapiro is, how partial I am to hockey goaltenders.
Is this a good time to tell you that I play the position?
I knew I liked you. But partial to all hockey players, especially goaltenders, is the way I should say it.
Well, that's where you want to put your goaltender as well, third base, and Elia Johnson. I know she normally plays on the other side, but softball's a sport really with 2 hot corners because the bases are so close.
This
so
one on a hop
way.
back to Mastler, easy play to Carls for out number 2. Yeah, it is, especially with the way I get so nervous when I watch because they get so close to the plate, but that's why they wear the masks. And you say, as you talked about, she's about 20 feet inside of third base when she fielded that sharply hit ground ball.
It's one thing to start in, it's another to just completely walk into the hitter, as
right.
Third basemen frequently do in this sport. I don't know how they do it. Keep your focus on the ball and the bat while moving forward.
This one hit sharply, tried to backhand by Numala, but skips into center field for a 2-out single.
And again, Coon Rapids just struggling to find a clean inning here. Almost got through that one, a 1-2-3, but the St. Francis team just finds a way to keep the pressure on you defensively throughout the game. Aubrey Burns is going to come in as a courtesy runner. This is not a big roster for St. Francis. They have somewhere between 11
this
and 14.
This one skied right side. Therefore, it is Numala. And still a relatively quick inning in the 6th. Still a big hole for the Cardinals to try and take out of. 8-2 they trail as we go to the bottom half of inning number 6.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is.
Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
St. Francis, big lead as we enter the late innings. Cardinals running out of outs. They trail by as many runs as they have outs remaining in this contest.
Number 45.
And that is something, as you're on the bench as a head coach, you never tell your team, of course. We can talk about it all we want, but Zach Nienaber's never going to mention that, especially when you're facing a pitcher like Roberts, who has had a very good night despite the 2 runs.
Yeah, she's been very solid. The first run in that first inning came on an error, but Cardinals finally able to push one more across in the 5th. Now try and whittle away at that lead even more. Meg Scheck looks at a fastball, strike 1. She had a 3-run lead before she ever got into the circle. And so far, that's been enough. She has kept the Cardinals off balance all game long. As we talk about, she's got 3 different pitches she can throw for strikes, and all 3 different speeds. Slow roller back to Roberts, over to Serrell for out number 1.
Even when she's had base runners on, I can't think of a single moment in this game where Roberts hasn't looked like she's in command of what's happening out there. And that's all you want out of your pitcher, is just confidence that she knows what she's doing up there.
Jaden Gale, first pitch, grounded to third. Packard across to Serrell, and 2 down quickly.
And it helps that despite the error, which is one of the more bizarre errors you'll ever see, and really it's a nitpicky thing to say she's got to take a step inside and throw that down to first. The defense for St. Francis, very good in this game.
Yeah, and we've seen Terrace do some impressive things. She, the throw down to second, very impressive. And that one was, like you talked about at the time, she had more time, I think, than she thought, and she could have easily stepped out. This one, a line drive. Heckenleibel snares it, drops it in the circle, and they head back to the dugout. We go to the 7th, St. Francis 8, Coon Rapids 2.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Cardinal fans hoping for something to change here as we head into the 7th inning. A very quick 6th. There were 8 pitches in the top half of the inning, only 6 in the bottom half. And the Cardinals have to be able to do something next time they get to the dish to disrupt the rhythm of Ella Roberts. Lucy Martin, Kenna Packard, and then back to the top of the order for the St. Francis Saints here in the 7th inning. And the top half of the order has been outstanding offensively for St. Francis.
We talked all night about how this lineup doesn't have any holes, but if you're Masteller, these are 2 big hitters. You can't afford to fall any further behind in this inning, and you've got to make sure you're facing that top of the order with the bases empty.
Yeah, and if you could possibly get through it this inning, get the 3 outs before Aubrey Terrace gets back to the plate, that might be a good idea too. Terrace 4 for 4 with 4 RBI and 2 runs scored, includes the 2-run home run in the first.
That's a good start.
And a
for
3-pitch
Mastow.
strikeout, yeah, absolutely.
Good rising fastball up and away.
Now Kenna Packard 0 for 3 this evening. No longer 0 for, good solid single to right on the first pitch she sees. And that will all but guarantee that Aubrey Terrace gets another at-bat tonight.
Especially because you don't really see Heckenleibel grounding into a double play, not the way she runs.
Well, right.
If she
and
smokes one at somebody, maybe.
She's 2 for 2 with a couple of walks. She's scored a couple as well. First pitch, hit well. There for it, Islam in center, and I think she may have just taken away a home run from Heckenleibel if she doesn't close the gap that quickly.
Interesting to see where that would have come down, but you're right. It was close, and of course the wind is pushing that. That would have been a bullet of a home run.
It's on a line. It would have been very close to the top of that tape.
And that's going to be the...
And they're going to, before seeing Terrace again, they're going to have another pitching change. It looks like we're going to have...
Now pitching for the Cardinals. Double O.
Oh, they're going to put Abby Graham out there, so we're going to switch out the pitcher.
This reeks of a player who's had a great career, who said, hey, I'd like to pitch one time before I graduate, and here's your chance. Face a hitter who's
2
4
outs.
for 4.
Yeah. With a home run, 4 RBI. That's, yeah, this is your career hits leader in school history, a 4-year varsity player, and she's been a very strong defensive catcher for most of that career. And as we talked about, 116 hits coming into the game tonight, I think they said.
Also, it should be mentioned that the player coming in as part of this switch is Izzy Carlson, another senior. Get some playing time on senior night.
And she will be the player behind the plate. I'm just impressed with how quickly Abby stripped out of her catcher's gear. Was looking to see who they were going to go to on as the next pitcher, and she was already jogging out there with her other glove on.
Yeah, we're all looking out to center field because Sam Lom is the other pitcher that Coon Rapids uses, and she was standing still.
Well, we'll see if Graham's the one that's got the answer to the hot-hitting Aubrey Terrace. 3 singles, a home run, 4 RBI, and she's certainly not going to chase the pitch down in the dirt. This one hit hard and through. Make it 5 for 5 on the night for Aubrey Terrace.
We can't discount that one because she got it off of a catcher, but still.
Still a solid hit ball through a small
Absolutely.
hole
What a night
on the
she's
left
having.
side of the infield. Sidney Greene. She is 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. She did reach on a fielder's choice and score a run in that second inning. Comes up swinging empty at that one. They're going to throw down to second, and it skips all the way out to center, but no chance for Packard to try and go anywhere. Two and 0. The count to Sidney Greene. called strike. I think Grace Graham is doing the catching. That pitch is going to get away from her. Both runners are going to advance. Count goes to throw it 3-0 for Sidney Greene. That's ball 4, skips to the backstop. Run comes home. Oh, sorry, that's 3-0. Run comes home on the wild pitch. And there is ball 4, and trotting down to first is Sidney Greene. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Emily Sorrell. Hard hit, great backhanded stab by Scheck. The throw way over the head of Carls. Greene will head over to third base on the air.
A nice stab by Scheck, but almost impossible to plant and throw there in the amount of time that you have.
Number 20.
And now Madison Rothbauer. RBI single back in the first, since then a strikeout and a couple of ground balls back to the pitcher. Down and in. This one chopped and it stays in play. Throw down is offline. Carls can't snare it. Another run scores. Ball bobbled around out in right field. Staying at third, though, is Sorrell.
Well, it's interesting. We've seen a throw down to first hit a runner, and on that throw, Graham did step inside to throw around a runner who was actually running inside the baseline. So if she'd hit her there, it would have been or should have been an out.
Good pitch to strike to start Ella Roberts with a strike. Back-to-back errors have kept this game going. Or this inning, I should say. 3 runs across, now the lead.
And another 10-run performance from St. Francis.
Yeah. And a strikeout for Abby Graham. Ella Roberts to get. Abby Graham gets the called strikeout to get the last out of the inning, but the Cardinals now trail by 10 as they head to the bottom of the 7th.
The black truck. Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Back at the ballpark, Cardinals with their work cut out for them. Down by 10 and facing a pitcher who has been pretty solid. And the 2 batters she will face to start this 7th are the 2 that she has really had the best luck against, or best control of, maybe I should say. Evan Euland and Abby Carls both 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. We're going to see Emily Lenny lead off for the Cardinals here in the 7th.
Got another senior to get in there and get into the action.
Yeah, give him an opportunity, and one that's gotten away from him a little bit. Not the night they were hoping for to end the regular season, but as we talked about earlier, Cardinals had a great run. They had 7 straight wins coming in. They'd won 4 games in 4 days, Monday through Thursday this week. And coming in, maybe not such a bad thing to get a loss here and get that out of the way. They can get right back on a win streak when the section play starts next week.
Well, the psychology is different for both head coaches heading into sections. You say, all right, we're on a great run. Let's keep it going if you're St. Francis. But if you're Zach Nienaber, you can use this. Okay, start fresh next game. We had a bit of a wake-up call against a good team. We know what we have to do to beat these teams now. Let's go do it.
Well, number one, hope that they don't just get a hold of a couple of balls and hit them really high when they have a ton of wind at their back in the first inning. As we talked about at the time, you know, that first inning really could have gone much, much differently without the help of the wind pushing a couple of balls deeper and deeper into right. The first one carrying out over this right center field fence out of the reach of Sam Lom. This one rolled to third, bounces off the glove of Packard. Linnae is there safely. Leadoff base runner on an error. Two errors on the Cardinals in the top half of this inning. Helped St. Francis add to their lead. And now Linnae able to get on by an error to start the home half. Abby
nice
Carls
moment for a senior there in her first at bat of the season, even though it was an error.
Hey,
always remember running the bases.
Base runners are base runners. That one perfectly placed deep in the hole. Good backhanded stop by Heckenleibel, but no chance to get Linnae at second.
Now for the Cardinals, number 99.
And now back to the top of the order for the Cardinals. Sam Lom quietly having a great night, 3 for 3 with a run scored. All 3 have been right back up the middle, and all 3 have been on the first pitch. This one, she really thought about it, held off, and maybe she should have got after it. It was right there, 0-1.
Yeah, I think that was an off-speed pitch as opposed to a fastball, so the timing was a little off, and that's why she didn't swing.
Got just a piece of the pitch that was dropping down off the table, 0-2. 2 on, nobody out. Cardinals trail by 10. And a really good contact hitter in Sam Lom. Not going to let much get by her untouched. This one hit well down the right field line, and one hops the fence. Linnae will be sent around. Carls will check in at third. RBI double for Sam Lom. 2 runners in scoring position.
Lom wanted more on that, but she almost caught Carls on the base paths because she took off like a rocket. Carls had to make sure that thing fell. Nice way to start this inning for Coon Rapids.
Numela chops it back to the pitcher. Hesitated, checked the runner at third. Everybody safe.
Now Roberts on that play has just got to not worry about the runner. It's 11-3. Just go to first, get the out. But
yes,
pitchers sometimes don't like to give up anything.
I think we may see a pitching change here for St. Francis. Or is this just a time to regather everyone for Coach Liefering and say, hey, girls, we got a big lead. Just get the outs.
Yeah, you look at it here, grand slam, and you still need another one to tie the game. So if you're St. Francis, just throw strikes, we'll make the plays behind you.
Well, she has had a very good 6+ innings so far, and Coon Rapids just trying to mount a rally here. A couple of really big hitters due up here in Abby Graham, Elia Johnson, and behind her, Meg Scheck.
Now at least give Abby Graham another chance to hit here. She's hit the ball hard a couple times today and has nothing to show for it. What better way to go out in your last home game than maybe an RBI base hit?
Well, she did have the sacrifice fly in the 5th. A line drive to short that turned into a double play in the 2nd. This one hit high down the line and hooking foul down the right field line. It's 1-2. This one hit sharply, bounced away from Packard, and that is going to be an RBI single. Everybody safe.
Now up the bat for the Cardinals, number 33.
And now Elia Johnson. You talk about someone who can wipe those bases clean with one swing. Johnson could definitely do that.
And you gotta love the way this Coon Rapids team has come out here and just battled in this 7th inning. Very easy situation where you can just pack it in and say, let's take 3 outs and go to section play, and they have not done that.
Well, and it all started with an error on a player. Her first at bat of the season reaches on an error, and then couple of hits behind her. 4 straight to be exact. Johnson through the gap on the left side. Everybody safe. Everybody move up 1 base. Another RBI single for the Cardinals, and they start to chip away. Unfortunate that they couldn't get this going a couple innings ago, but still an opportunity. Anything can happen. Meg Scheck, another player who could empty the bases with 1 swing.
Well, for 6 innings, a ball hit like that for Coon Rapids would have been right at a defender. That was a seeing eye single.
Scheck fouling out of play. Still nobody out, 2 across, bases loaded. Cardinals still trail 11-5 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pitch drops in, strike 2. Scheck 1 for 3 with a double back in the 4th. This one driven to left and gone! A grand slam home run for Meg Scheck. And the Cardinals have cut that lead to 2. This one not quite over.
And no wind aid needed on a swing like that. That was crushed by Scheck.
A no-doubter off the bat for Scheck. And the Cardinals have scored 6. No, make it 7 in the inning and still nobody out.
Now there's a discussion at the St. Francis bench, and I wonder if they're not sure how many outs there are.
There are
none.
0. 7 batters, 7 runs. Well, it looked last time that they were going out there and talked and met in the circle that, I thought maybe they might pull the plug on Roberts, but did not. 11-9 the score in favor of St. Francis, up by 2. Making sure, that's what the discussions are, making sure everybody's scorebooks are adding up correctly or the same. 7 batters in the inning for the Cardinals. 7 have scored. This would be one of the more monumental comebacks in CTN history if we were to witness a come from behind win down 9 going to the bottom of the 7th. That is to be certain.
And you're 1 base runner away from putting the tying run at the plate. And in what was an 11-2 ball game coming into the bottom half of the 7th inning. Still nobody out. I think the issue here is that the Coon Rapids scorebook was showing, I think, 11-10. St. Francis had 11-9, but 11-9 is the right score. Can't have more runs than you've had hitters in the inning.
Jaden Gale trying to keep this one going. Pitch just low from Roberts, 1-0. Well, we talked about trying to get Roberts off her rhythm. They have done so a little bit, just been able to hit her a little bit harder here in this 7th inning than they had through the first 6. She's trying to jump back on that groove.
And the balls that weren't hit hard were hit in the right spots. A single by Johnson, that's maybe a double play ball if it's not hit where it is, but it was between third and short.
This one popped up in the infield. Coming in is Packard for out number 1.
Crazy part about this is that Lene started this inning and she's going to get to hit again. Can she start a rally twice in her only 2 at-bats as a senior? She's on deck.
Cam Schmelzer takes that pitch inside, 1-0. Swinging strike evens the count. Good pitch there from Roberts. She gets into the driver's seat, 1-2. This one slapped down the line and fair. Great shot by Schmelzer. She's digging and going for 2. She slides and the ball gets knocked away. Good hustle play from Cam Schmelzer. Perfectly placed hit. And that's the hustle double. And the Cardinals will bring the tying run to the plate. And Lenny is not going to be given that opportunity. They're going to reinsert Evan Euland here.
And for Schmaltzer there, she got away with it, but another one where you've got to be sure you can get to second base. Your run doesn't mean anything. Don't be that second out, but did get there, and you mentioned she's got great speed. She needed every bit of it to get into second base on that play.
And here's Evan Euland, a batter that definitely has the power to go yard. She had the first home run of the season for the Cardinals squad, but 0 for 2 against Roberts so far with a pair of strikeouts, both of the swinging variety. Looks at a fastball, strike 1. Tenth batter of the inning. Cardinals have scored 7. Big swinging miss for Euland. It's 0-2. Ella Roberts trying to hang on to the victory that seemed almost assured coming into the inning, and she fans Evan Euland for the 3rd time this evening to get the second out. The Cardinals down to their final out, but certainly can hold their heads a bit higher after the 7th inning they've had here. You know, as you talked about, it would have been very easy to just roll over and go to the playoffs, but they've come back and strung some hits together and made it interesting. Abby Carls digs in representing the tying run now, and Carl's had a hit in this inning. This one's going to drop as well. Schmelzer went back to tag and then slides. The ball skips away. They're going to try and advance Carl. She is going to move in safely. Not the fastest runner in the order, but the Cardinals now have the tying run in scoring position. And I think they're going to put a little more speed in for Abby Carls representing that tying run.
is going to come in. There's Zach Nienaber yelling for her. And now you got Sam Lom at the plate, who's having a 4-for-4 night, and all she has to do is find a spot in the outfield. This is absolutely incredible stuff from Coon Rapids. And a pitcher that looked not necessarily untouchable, but certainly dominant through 6 innings. She's really just struggling to get out of the 7th, and the confidence not there anymore.
And the one player she has not dominated is the one coming to the plate right here. 4-for-4 so far tonight. Couple of runs scored, including a double and a run scored in this inning.
One of those things where obviously you never want to put the winning run on base, but how hard do you pitch Lom here? You can't give her anything. Do not get caught off the bases either.
Yes, do not. And you've got a catcher that's not afraid to throw down, and she gets it out of her hand quickly because she doesn't pop. She goes right from her knee and kind of falls forward into this one ripped hard, taken well by Greene. They'll get the out at first, and the Cardinal comeback will fall just short.
Oh, what an incredible game it turned out to be. That's one of the wilder innings you're going to see all season long, no matter how much softball you watch. And again, St. Francis' streak is still alive, but Coon Rapids can certainly take a lot of momentum out of that 1/2 inning into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and still a great finishing week for the Cardinals. They finish 7 straight wins, and then they drop this one, but to another very tough team in their section. With the win, I'm going to assume St. Francis ends up as the number 3 seed. Cardinals may fall all the way to 5. Could see Blaine slide ahead of them because Blaine beat the Cardinals early in the year. So the seeding meeting we should know by Monday. But it could be very well that 4 and 5 go to Coon Rapids and Blaine, and who is which one will just determine on who gets to host that first round game.
Find out on Tuesday, maybe a little earlier, because I might not wait for St. Francis to play that last game because it's not a section game, so I'm not sure it matters too much.
Well, we're hoping that we will have that information Monday on Sports Night. We've got baseball coming up against Osseo on Tuesday. Baseball playoffs next week, and those to be determined so far. But that's going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports. Again, the final score at St. Francis 11, Coon Rapids 9. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Charlie Beatty, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.